Hello there, hello. How are you all? This is Nicole Louie, the social worker strategy mentor. I'm just jumping on really quickly to say a big hello. It's pouring with rain outside, and I was sitting here watching some YouTube videos, and I thought I would just have a bit of a conversation with you because there's something that I wrote earlier on today that I wanted to talk about a little bit. It kind of got me on a train of thinking that I just really wanted to share because I felt it really spoke to me. And I don't know if you've seen the post, but I wrote down that we basically have to serve from a place of overflow as opposed to deficit. And I think for us as social workers, even when you're independent, you can still be in that kind of catch 22 situation if you don't pace yourself and if you don't have the right systems in place. And yeah, I guess I just wanted to talk to that really. And if this is the first time that you're catching one of my lives, my name's Nicole Louie and I'm a social worker. I've done predominantly frontline child protection for more than 15 years, and I've been independent for over 5 years now, just over 5 years, and I'm loving the journey that I'm on. I feel that I'm serving far more, far deeper, and making greater impact this way. And so I really love that. And so I help social workers do the same thing, basically, by teaching them the steps and showing them exactly what they have to do in order so that they can avoid the pitfalls and then experience far more of the mountain peaks that are associated with being independent. So that's who I am. But yeah, I wanted to just talk about this place about serving from overflow, because even though I'm independent, I was burnt out as an independent when I first started. And it's because I was really operating in the same way that I was when I was working for the local authorities. And so I had to really become uninstitutionalized, and I had to break the mold completely and do things very differently. Even though I think what I was providing, the way I set up my services from the jump was always different. I think what was the same was the mentality. It was the mentality of like working myself like a pay train and you know, giving myself a heavy workload and not taking care of myself very well. And so I wanted to talk about that really. About the fact that you can serve, but there's always, I think as social workers, we often serve from a deficit because we're not taking care of ourselves very well and we're stressed out. We're not necessarily advocating for ourselves very well. And I think that it can be problematic when we're trying to balance, you know, the needs of the service and the needs of our families. Especially if you have like a young family, and we don't really think about ourselves. We don't consider that actually we ourselves as a social worker has needs. We have needs, and sometimes we've had similar experience to our clients. And so how do we really manage that? How do we really do things in a way that allow us to serve from a place of overflow? Because anything else is deficit. We're serving from a place of deficit, which can't be good for us. It can't be good for the service that we're working for, and it certainly isn't good for those on the receiving end of what we deliver. And so I just really wanted to share that. I think some of the ways in which I've found and discovered, even as an independent, that it's important to serve from a place of overflow and how to do that. And even if I reflect on, you know, how I was working, you know, when I was working for the local authority, and the things that I would change is certainly around my patterns, being really clear about my own patterns in the way I present and show up, whether that's showing up on time, whether that's utilizing the systems that I have available to me that allows me to save time so that I'm more effective, whether I'm utilizing a support network, having a support network and being really clear that I need a support network and how to use that that support network in the form of people, especially like having different people for different things. So I'll give you an example. Like right now as an independent, I have like a team, and I don't mean like a work team, I mean like a support team. I have different friends that are really great in different areas, for different things. And so I will link up with them and talk with them when I need to just offload or ask questions, or have a sounding board, or have even advice. And that's really important for reflection. And I think it's especially important when you're kind of working on the front line, where maybe you're not getting consistent supervision or enough supervision. So I think that's really important. I think the other thing as well that I want to say to that, in terms of taking care of yourself, is, and being clear about your patterns, is how are you taking care of yourself? You know, what are the self-care things? I think sometimes as social workers, we can look to maybe external factors that are not very healthy. So maybe before COVID, you know, you might go out and drink, or stay home and drink. You might smoke, you might just veg out and comfort eat a lot. So those kind of things that are really not so healthy and helpful for us. But that, you know, we're human and we do those things. You know, those things don't necessarily assist us in tackling the issues and the experiences that we're facing, that are causing us to maybe struggle to work from a place of overflow. And so those are things that I reflected on when I thought about my own practice, and when I was in local authority, but even my practice just now, my practice now as a social worker who's independent and have health challenges. I have, those of you that are my launchers and are in my community or have been following me for a while, you'll know that I have some health challenges that I'm managing every single day. And it is every single day I have to really work at it. And so, you know, it's relevant and applicable to anyone and everyone, but I think it's especially applicable to us as social workers, or those in the care field industry. And for us as social workers, you know, we manage a lot of risk, physical risk, emotional risk, and otherwise. And so it's important that we are really taking care of ourselves, and not burning ourselves out, and not feeling stressed and deflated, because we go through our own things, right? We go through our own stuff as well. But yet we have to show up for other people when they're at their most crucial, you know, times in life, and their most momentous times of life. And we're showing up and we're having to deliver for them and give them the best service, because the decisions that we make, the things that we say, the things that we write down really impact those people in a way that, you know, we can't fathom. And when we're long gone out of their lives, they're still left with the aftermath. And so I think there's something to be said about us really taking hold of the importance of, you know, understanding that, you know, what we do is so crucial, that we cannot afford to not be our best version when we are showing up for those that we're serving. And so, you know, I've spoken to social workers in different areas, different stages of their career. Some have been like working 15 years like myself or more. Some have worked in it for 20, 30 years. Some have been really kind of newly qualified or just starting out. But one thing that is synonymous with the social workers that I support and have mentored and speak to, is that they're all kind of in the same stage where they want to do something different. They want to do more for those that they serve, but they don't know how. And oftentimes they're just thinking about exiting and leaving altogether. And I always say that, you know, independence is a win-win-win. You win because you get to continue doing what you love without having to sacrifice, you know, your health, without having to sacrifice lots and lots of your time. You become more time rich than time poor, and other resources like time with your family and the dreams and hopes and aspirations that you had to fulfill when you first qualified or started qualifying, when you started the journey. And then the local authority and organizations wings, they have somebody that they can commission. But best of all, the people that win the most are the people that you are serving, because they get to experience a a type of service from a social worker, skilled and experienced social worker, that they're not getting anywhere else. They're not getting in organizations that are government run or restricted by funding. So if they're in the charity sector or voluntary sector, you know, they get a very different experience. And that's what right now we need more than anything. You know, families are just struggling so much, especially in the midst of this like pandemic. Like, things are falling apart for people, and they need somewhere to go. They need people that understand what their difficulties are, who are experienced and skilled to manage it in a way that is very different. And so independence affords that. And so if you're a social worker at the moment who's kind of at that kind of crossroad and is not really quite sure, you know, where they want to go or how they want to do it, but they know that they want to do something different, and they want to learn about how independence could assist them, then you could join the community. You'll be a launcher. I call my community launchers, because we're about launching into something new, launching into something that's completely different, that isn't being done the way independence has been done, certainly in the UK. And so you could join the community by going to the website www.nicolemlouis.com, and you can fill in the opt-in form, and you'll get the my 5 simple steps to independent social worker status. You'll get that for free. It's a workbook, a guide, and it comes with a checklist as well. And then you'll get other emails that will share goodies and useful information about everything related to independence. And you can also book a free consultation with me. We will have 15 minutes to talk together about where you're at right now and what you could be doing that will be more enriching to your experience, and how you could get started practically more or less immediately, to just increase your more of a positive experience where you are at work right now, while you're waiting to transition to whatever direction you're going to go, and whether that's independence or exit in social work or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, I hope to speak to you soon. That was really just what I wanted to share, because I think, as I said, I was just binge watching things on YouTube and really thought about this thing about serving and serving from a place of overflow rather than deficit. And there are always ways in which we can have better experiences in our work and in our life, but it means that we have to do something very different in order for that to happen. So I encourage you to book some time with me and let's have a chat. And I look forward to serving you very soon. Take care.